The closing now. Uh, all all what you did before is just to get to the point where we are now. That means to close your sale. If you did everything very well, but that you don't close your sale, I mean, you lost time. And what happened is that your client is ready to buy, but is going to buy to somebody else. So you have to have a technique to finish. Ideally speaking, the customer or the client should be willing to buy. It's always better to have a client willing to buy than you trying to sell. But sometimes it's not enough. I mean, some persons are going to buy directly, but for some you will have to give an extra push in order to close your sale. So when to close a sale? Not too early, not too late. Not too early, otherwise you are going to get a no, and not too late, because otherwise the client is going to see somebody else and to buy all your work will be for somebody else, because the client is going to go and see your competitor and buy there. However, you can know when the client is ready to buy. First, he gives some objections, meaning that he wants to be secured. These specific objections, that means that he wants to know he's making a good decision. Questions about the future. When I buy that, when I use it, how shall I be able to use it? If I have a problem, where can I call? If it breaks, what's your customer service? So all that questions means that in his head he's ready to buy. You can also see some signs of nervousness, and I'm going to ask you a question. Who is the most nervous during the closing? You or the client? Think twice. The client, obviously, because for you, you want to close it, but you don't have to spend money. Your client has to spend money for that. So it's more important for him to make a good decision than for you to sell. So you should be able to determine when you have to push a bit the client to make him finish, to close your sale. What you should never say. What do you think about it? If you say that, if you tell that, he's going to tell you, I'm going to think about it. What do you think about it? Oh, let me think. Give me some time so that I can think about it. So that's not good. Or even worse, I let you think about it because you're afraid to get a no. So instead of asking the sale, you let the customer think about it. You can talk to your wife or you can talk to your husband if you want. Again, I've seen that very often. That's very, very bad. Even worse, go on our internet site, think about it, and you call us when necessary. Obviously, the sale is going to go to your competitor. There is something else which is very bad, to overselling. The client is ready to buy, but the rep is speaking and speaking and speaking, what we call overselling. You have to know when your client is ready. If you oversell, he's going to get, he's going to be frustrated and he may go. I'm sure you have been in that kind of conditions where you went in a shop and the salesperson was just trying to sell you more and more while your decision was already taken, and you are so fed up that you just want to leave the store and go somewhere else, because you don't like the person in front of you. So these are the common mistakes you should avoid. Now, what you should do. You have to assume that the client agrees. The only assumption, as I said it before, that you can make during a sale is that your client or your customers agrees. It is the only thing that you can assume as a salesperson. You should speak at the present or future tense, as if he had agreed. You let him think that he said yes, even though he may have not said anything, but, you just act as if he was going to buy, if his decision was already made, even though it wasn't the case. You sum up the benefits and get yes. Or you ask, that's even better, You ask the customer what are the benefits of your solutions, and you are not going to give it yourself, but he's going to give it to you. And obviously, you have to give some silence to let the client decide, to let him say yes. If you speak all the time, if you try to overdo, that's going to do the contrary. So, you know that. You have been in stores or you have been buying cars and the rep was speaking all the time and you couldn't think, you didn't have the opportunity to give your yes. So, let the customer think and let him tell you yes. Now, we are going to see the techniques. First, I would advise you to avoid the dangerous paradoxal techniques, and mainly used by reps, for cars, salespeople in the car business. I know that you can't afford this car, so I'm going to show you the other one. And then you want to say, no, I can't afford it. No, don't try to use that. It's very, very dangerous. Mainly if you're in B2B, B2C, you could do that, even though I would not advise you to do it. But B2B, no way, you don't do that. That's what we call paradoxal technique. You say no, so that the other one says yes, by using his ego, but it's very dangerous. First technique is the direct question. It's not the best one, but if you begin in sales business, I would advise you to use it. The direct question is, do you agree to buy that? But you can get a yes or you can get a no. So do you agree or do you want to buy that or that or that? It's good to use it, but it's the worst one, I would say. You can have an agreement on the concession. If I give you 5%, do you tell me yes now? Okay. If you tell me yes now, I give you 5% right away. So it's an agreement on a concession. That's something that works pretty well if you have the opportunity to give this 5%. There is also the alternative, which is better than the direct question, on a minor or major point. A major point is you can choose between this car or this one. That is not very good. Why? Because a client may tell you, let me think about it. The choice is so big that he may have to think about it twice. Where a minor one would be, would you prefer this car in this color or this color? In black or white? Red or yellow? That's an easy one, an easy choice for the client. So this one is much better, and it's much better than the direct question, because the direct question is yes or no, while here it's black or white. There is also what we call the stimulus, and that I like it very much if it's well done. If you take it now, I can guarantee the price or the rate or the disponibility. In bank it's very easy to use it. You know that the rate now is very good. If you tell me yes now, I can guarantee it. It could be better tomorrow, but it could be very much worse too. For a car, it could be, this car is the only one we have here. If you tell me yes now, I guarantee that you have it. If you wait for tomorrow, I can guarantee, because it's the only one. And obviously we sell to the first person who will really buy it. Or I can keep it for a few hours if you want, but after I will have to let it go. So that is called the stimulus, and depending on the sale you are in, it's very good. There is just something that I don't like. If the customer knows very well that there are 10 cars behind, and you say it's the only one that I have, it's not a nice technique. So use it when it's real. Try to avoid what is really, the gross techniques of a salesperson, which are not really believable. I do it in my business, for example. If I have a client who is interested and he tells me, when would you be available? I say, I can give you that now if you want. If you tell me yes now, I can book it in my agenda. Nobody will take it. If you want to think you are right, you can do it. But I can guarantee you tomorrow, if he's really interested, he's going to take it. There is also the under reserve. That's when a client doesn't want to say yes. I book the training because I think you are really interested, unless you tell me no. If you don't get the yes, so I'll tell you, and you know, he will be the one psychologically who will have to call you to say no, I can't. So that's to try to push the customer to a yes. In general, best salespersons use the assumption technique to assume the agreement, and you begin the paper, and here you sign. So it shouldn't be too pushy too. But if the client is ready to sign, it works. Or something that is very good is the combination of the stimulus plus assuming. You know, the price is good now, the rate is good. So I can see that you are interested. So I'm going to prepare the document so that you can benefit of the rate of today or the price of today or the car which is available now, whatever. So it's a combination of stimulus and assumption, which is very, very good. Again, there are different techniques here. It's not because you heard me 5 minutes talking about it that you are going to be able to use it right away. So take your time, read that again on the PDF that you received, choose the techniques you want to work on and practice it. And when you practice one and you know one, try to use another one. Now, if at the end, after all what you did, the client says no, you can still try to come back, and it's not easy. The first one is to use the balance technique. You know, you say no, I do understand what you mean, but again, let us recap, let us summarize. You have these disadvantages, but you have also disadvantages. What do you think? You don't have anything to lose to use it, you know. Because the clients already said no. So you come back to that. Now, there is even a more efficient one, I would say. You use the problem-solving process and the pre-closing. And you say, up to now, we agreed on everything. And you just tell me that you don't want to sign. Or you say no now. Can you tell me what prevents you from buying? He tells you, you are going to be able to answer and then to close. But you are going to go one step better. Now, okay, if I'm able to overcome the objection that you are going to give me, can you give me a yes now? Do you see what I mean? That's what we call pre-closing. So, first, what prevents you from signing now? And if I can give you the right answer, are you really interested and ready to say yes now? So you are going to see if the client is serious or not. And again, I'm going to finish on that. The only thing a salesperson can assume is that the customer will say yes. And all your job is to bring this yes. After the sale now, don't go and run. No, congratulate the client and reinforce you made an excellent choice, Mr. Smith. Why? Because the client is afraid he might have done a mistake, so reinforce his choice. Can you give me your email, or I'm going to take your email and phone number in case of necessity? And could you give me, you know, I like dealing with persons like you. Do you have 2 or 3 persons I could get in touch with so that I could try to present the same services or the same product? And that's the right time. And you see what I said? I like dealing or discussing with persons like you. You use his ego. Do you know 2 or 3 other persons that you could give me that I could talk? Why? Because you use his ego. And obviously, if the person you have been discussing with as friends, it should be pretty much the same kind of friends. If it's the director of a company, he should have as friends other company directors. Okay? So you ask for reference, and then you thanks and you salute. and you will have done a very good work.